countdown. The game has finally arrived. And during the next half hour, I will chronicle what the last 2 weeks have been like for the Giants. And Sal Marciano is standing by live in New York. Sal?
The Giants' first trip to the football game with the Roman numeral follows their best season ever and a pair of steamroller wins in the playoffs. Add that glory to the fact that the Giants haven't been NFL champs in 30 years, and you have good cause for Giants mania. I'll report on those angles. Len?
Okay, Sal. Up next, what the last 2 weeks have been like for the NFC champions. And I will have a preview of the game. That's all coming up live from New York and Pasadena.
Super Bowl 21, One Giant Step, is sponsored by Continental Airlines and by the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Renault Jeep Performers.
Continental, may I help you?
Ready checked in, Mr. Walsh?
How it should be. Now New York's largest airline and the best value in the air.
We lift you up where you belong. No problem at all.
Where the proud birds fly. Continental sky. Continental.
Up where you belong.
Your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Renault Jeep dealers have teamed up with the New York Giants and invite you to be the fan of the year with the official 86 Giants yearbook packed with statistics and player profiles. Get this colorful 84-page yearbook free when you test drive a Renault Alliance, the new 87 wide receiver Renault GTA, or another one of the legendary Jeep vehicles like Cherokee, Comanche pickup, or the 87 nose tackle Wrangler. Get the yearbook free with a test drive. See the Tri-State Renault Jeep Performers, the right guys.
Shape the winter blues with a night of exciting harness racing at America's #1 harness track, the Meadowlands. The action is non-stop as top trotters and pacers race 11 times a night, every Monday through Saturday night. Our gates open at 5:30.
Said the Giants were super, but New York Newsday showed how super the Giants really were. Only New York Newsday readers could relive the Giants' most colorful victory in full color. And only New York Newsday readers could enjoy colorful coverage of every moment of the game in 28 separate stories about the playoff win. New York Newsday won the playoffs. Now look at our super colorful coverage that's winning the Super Bowl.
Welcome back live to Pasadena. 12 days ago, the Giants clinched the NFC title. It meant their first trip ever to a Super Bowl, but it also meant the start of 2 weeks of activities that almost all of the Giants have never experienced. That same day, Lawrence Taylor picked up his MVP award, which ironically was voted by the writers. Taylor has had his moments with the media.
See, you guys can be ruthless, you know that. You guys can be someone, you know that. You know? Well, sometimes you can be nice, and sometimes you can even be smart.
Across town, others shot a music video called "We Are the New York Giants." It was shot one day and finished the next. Mercifully, they returned to the practice field after 3 days off. And the Super Bowl hype was on. Bill Parcells had an answer for Denver coach Dan Reeves, who accused Parcells of not passing up too many meals.
He's a good guy. I really like him.
I put on a little bit of weight, too, but I was just kidding Bill. You know, he worries a little bit about eating too much sometimes.
The Giants flew to California on Sunday, arriving at Long Beach Airport. And then it was off to Orange County, their headquarters for most of the week. From the NFL, the official Super Bowl 21 driving instructions. If you're wondering what the setup is, here's Los Angeles. The Rose Bowl is up here in Pasadena, but the Giants will not get there until the end of the week. They and we are all the way down here. If you know the freeway system, you have to go past the fork in the road all the way down to Costa Mesa. That's where all the action is in Southern California. They moved into their hotel through a rear entrance, avoiding the media and their fans.
We feel like, kind of feel like the president, you know, being, you know, ushered in the back door. But of course, you know, I'm from the South, and we used to do that all the time.
The team practiced at the Los Angeles Rams complex in Anaheim. It was closed to the public.
They have a guest list. People can come in, people can't.
And on Tuesday, the infamous Media Day. A couple of thousand reporters, 45 players. Some Giants were above it all. Lawrence Taylor, who didn't speak with the media most of the year, became the star attraction. Was he surprised that so many people wanted to hear what he had to say?
No.
Lots of people focused on Phil Simms, while Jeff Rutledge, Simms' backup, went virtually unattended.
You could conceivably.
Hey, I could be the MVP. You never know. But I don't foresee that happening. But.
And Tony Galbraith turned the cameras on us.
I'm interviewing Leonard. Hey, how you doing?
The only Giant with Super Bowl experience is Kenny Hill. He knew what to expect.
After about the second day of being asked questions, you guys started to become less and less imaginative and started just dreaming up things that are absolutely, without question, totally irrelevant and ungermane to this.
What's your favorite color?
What's my favorite color? Green, as in the color of money.
What gets lost in all of this is the football game. Come Sunday, some real questions will finally be answered. The key for the Broncos? Stopping Joe Morris.
I have the 5 guys up front, a tight end and a fullback who do a hell of a job for me. And they determine everything I do. If they have a good game, I'm going to have a good game. If they have a bad game, it could be a game for Joe Morris.
Our main objective from the start of the game is going to be to stop Joe Morris. They set up their passing game with their running game. If we can force them to pass on every down, I don't think they'll be very comfortable in that situation.
The statistics are interesting. Over the past 2 years, he's rushed for nearly 100 yards a game on artificial turf. But on grass, which is what they have at the Rose Bowl, it's only around 70 yards a game. The key for the Giants? Simple. Stopping John Elway and his marvelous ability to improvise.
Elway's the key to their offense, and I feel if you can stop, if you can lose that key, you're not going to open too many doors.
And what about that big 9.5 to 10-point spread favoring the Giants?
It's very difficult for me to think that anybody is, 10 points better than a team that's made it to the Super Bowl at any time.
Well, I think it's ludicrous. We only beat them by 3 points in New York. It's a home game. It was only a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I mean, it's ridiculous.
My best game was going to come in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to make, personally, the Giants do everything they can to show me why they're 10 points favorites over us.
Fighting words. Obviously, from a media standpoint, 2 of the hardest players to reach this week, the quarterbacks. But I did have a chance to speak with both of them.
I know they're a good team, and we're a good team, and it means so much. So many people are going to be watching, and I'm really looking forward to playing in it because I think I'm going to be relaxed, and I'm going to play hard. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm going to play hard.
There's so much focus on John Elway. And Elway's the key to the game. Who?
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize you have to have a great game for the Broncos to win? That's what everybody seems to be saying.
Well, I'm just going to go out, I'm not going to feel any extra pressure. I'm going to go out and do the best I can, prepare myself this week the best I can mentally, and then go out and turn it loose, and hopefully things turn out our way.
You scored no offensive touchdowns the last time you played them.
Big deal. We won the game. We were pretty much in control of the game most of the day, so it kind of changed the way we played that day. And I think this weekend we'll be a little more aggressive, and I think we can score some points on these guys.
Is this your biggest thrill?
It's pretty close. I mean, I'd hate to tell my wife, I mean, this is like getting married. This is like everything.
You like being a 10-point underdog?
It really doesn't mind. We've got nothing to lose, and there's not too many people that are giving us a chance, so we can go out, relax, have some fun, and turn it loose. And like I said, we've got nothing to lose.
Anything but winning will be unacceptable, of course. If we lose the game, it's like we played a 18-game season for nothing.
And coming up from New York, Sal has the Giants' road to the Super Bowl. The season in review.
Continental may help you.
Ready checked in, Mr. Walsh?
Now New York's largest airline and the best value in the air.
We lift you up where you belong. No problem at all. Where the proud birds fly. Continental.
Will relive the Giants' most colorful victory in full color. And only New York Newsday readers could enjoy colorful coverage of every moment of the game in 28 separate stories about the playoff win. New York Newsday won the playoffs. Now look at our super colorful coverage that's winning the Super Bowl.
Your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Renault Jeep dealers have teamed up with the New York Giants and invite you to be the fan of the year with the official 86 Giants yearbook packed with statistics and player profiles. Get this colorful 84-page yearbook free when you test drive a Renault Alliance, the new 87 wide receiver Renault GTA, or another one of the legendary Jeep vehicles like Cherokee, Comanche pickup, or the 87 nose tackle Wrangler. Get the yearbook free with a test drive. See the Tri-State Renault Jeep performers, the right guys.
Shake the winter blues with a night of exciting harness racing at America's #1 harness track, the Meadowlands. The action is non-stop as top trotters and pacers race 11 times a night, every Monday through Saturday night. Our gates open at 5:30 and first race goes off at 7:30. Come alive with harness racing at the Meadowlands, the better bet for winter.
Coach Bill Parcells told me his team's commitment to greater excellence began in their somber locker room after their defeat to the Bears in last year's NFC Championship game. During the offseason, the Giants pumped more iron and studied more. The result, their first division title in 23 years. But for starters, there was a bombshell. All-Pro Lawrence Taylor admitted his addiction to drugs. No one could be sure at the time that LT would emerge as the National Football League's most valuable player.
Lawrence, he felt like he had a problem. He took care of it. That's in the past. We're not even going to worry about that.
To ward off media pressure, Coach Bill Parcells threatened to cut off access to the Giants' locker room if questions were raised regarding Taylor's problems with drugs.
Bill has helped me more than any other one single teammate that I've ever, had, or any. So I have to thank Bill for giving me the strength.
There was more controversy in the preseason. The unsigned Joe Morris.
It's kind of hard to come down here and, play for a team when you know that things are not getting done when they said they were going to be done if I got back to training camp. If Sal, things can't work out here, why come they can't make a trade for me?
Some people have a strange idea of negotiations is give them everything they want.
Just before the Giants took the field for their Monday night opener in Dallas, Joe and the Giants finally agreed on a contract. The Giants won 14 of their 16 games and did finish first in the NFC's East, but it wasn't smooth sailing. They experienced their turning point early. It happened after their Monday night opener loss to Dallas 31-28. Coach Bill Parcells gave the defensive unit a tongue lashing, and the Blue Wrecking Crew knew it was time to put up or shut up.
And we got really cocky. We felt that our defense was going to just totally destroy everybody. I think when we lost that game in Dallas, it showed us that we're not as good as we thought we were.
The Giants recovered with 5 straight wins, capped by this. Who says the Giants aren't imaginative? Rutledge to Carson on a fake field goal. Giants over the Eagles 35-3. Parcells celebrated a win over the Raiders in Los Angeles with gusto. And as you know, he would be paid back in weeks to come.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath long about a Saturday night.
In weeks 9 through 11, the Giants defense sent 3 starting quarterbacks to the sidelines with injuries. Coach Parcells wasn't thrilled, though, because in Minnesota, it took an 18-yard completion on 4th and 17 from Sims to Bobby Johnson to set up the game-winning field goal by Raul Alegre in the closing second.
Intercepted by George Martin. He's going to go all the way if Elway can't get him.
The Giants and Broncos previewed Super Bowl 21. Afterwards, it was the Giants who could afford to joke about the weather in East Rutherford.
When I caught the ball initially, it was a bright, sunny day, and when I got in the end zone, it was rather cloudy, and the weather had changed considerably.
Other memorable moments in '86, the development of tight end Mark Bavaro, an all-pro who was bullish on the 49ers. The Giants coming back from a 17-0 deficit. Round 2 between Brad Benson and Dexter Manley. It was Benson by a TKO, and the Giants winning their division. Benson, the first lineman to be named Offensive Player of the Week.
I have the utmost amount of respect for him, and if I see him 10 years from now, I want to sit down and have a beer with him. I'm going to make him buy. He makes a lot more money than I do.
After all those holdings he had, shit, he should buy.
The Giants and their fans were amazing, racking up 9 straight wins to end the regular season. Ex-Green Bay Packer Tom Flynn did it against his former teammates as the Giants were just warming up for the playoffs. Joe Montana was knocked out, and so were the Niners, 49-3. To say the Giants have dominated the playoffs is understating the facts. The Giants head into their rumble with the Broncos, carrying an 11-game winning streak. It's been a merry carpet ride, especially for 2 defensive stars who remember the bad times, and Len is standing by with them.
And it's a pleasure to welcome to our Super Bowl special the 2 old.
It certainly is, Len. I mean, after a lot of years of frustration, a lot of years of futility, it's finally come to light, and I'm just delighted to have stuck around this long to be a part of it.
Did you ever say to yourselves, I've got to get out of here. I have to go play in Dallas or with the Raiders to get a Super Bowl ring?
I wanted out for a long time, but it wasn't really because of what was going on the field. It was just, you know, me personally wanting to leave, going to another situation, because when you're in one place for 5 years, it can get, you know, monotonous.
So you got to the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, right?
Absolutely not. Getting to the Super Bowl is only half the battle. The other half is winning it. You know, I think we've had, you know, a dream season, and to finish on a downer, to lose the Super Bowl would mean that it's all been for naught. So we want to get to the Super Bowl, and we want to win it.
And then you retire because you're so old, you'll have your ring, and you go off, right?
No, that's not so. Yeah, we'll just live off our Social Security.
From the oldest Giants to what preceded them. Up next, Sal with a Giants history lesson.
Super Bowl 21, One Giant Step, has been sponsored by the Meadowlands, America's #1 harness track, East Rutherford, New Jersey, and New York Newsday.
Shape the winter blues with a night of exciting harness racing at America's #1 harness track, the Meadowlands. The action is non-stop as top trotters and pacers race 11 times a night, every Monday through Saturday night. Our gates open at 5:30, and first race goes off at 7:30. Come alive with harness racing at the Meadowlands, the better bet for winter.
The Post said the Giants were super. The News said the Giants were super. But New York Newsday showed how super the Giants really were. Only New York Newsday readers could relive the Giants' most colorful victory in full color. And only New York Newsday readers could enjoy colorful coverage of every moment of the game in 28 separate stories about the playoff win. New York Newsday won the playoffs. Now look at our super colorful coverage that's winning the Super Bowl.
Your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Renault Jeep dealers have teamed up with the New York Giants and invite you to be the fan of the year with the official 86 Giants yearbook, packed with statistics and player profiles. Get this colorful 84-page yearbook free when you test drive a Renault Alliance, the new 87 wide receiver Renault GTA, or another one of the legendary Jeep vehicles like Cherokee, Comanche pickup, or the 87 nose tackle Wrangler. Get the yearbook free with a test drive. See the tri-state Renault Jeep performers, the right guys.
Go ahead. Ask me how I got to paradise. Okay, I'll tell you. I won cash with the City One Instant Win Card. I just happened to stop by a Citibank to ask about the City One account. You know, checking, savings, credit cards, all in one. I pick up this card, and boom, just like that, I strike it rich. Maybe you can, too. Just stop by any Citibank branch today and give it a shot. You could win up to $10,000. Then go find your own paradise.
We're thinking what you're thinking.
It's been 30 years since the Giants ruled the NFL. In those 3 decades, pro football boomed, the NFL merged with the AFL, and the rival Jets won a Super Bowl. The 70s were a ghetto of a decade for Giants fans, but they held on to their season tickets and their faith. It's been a long time between drinks.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
In 1956, Elvis was the king of rock and roll with 5 #1 hit records. And Ike was back in the White House. In sports, Don Larson pitched a perfect game for the Yankees against the Dodgers in the World Series. And 20-year-old Floyd Patterson became boxing's youngest world heavyweight champ with a knockout of Archie Moore. The 56 Giants christened their new home, Yankee Stadium, with an NFL title clash with the Chicago Bears. and the Giants won their first championship since 1938, 47-7. Frank Gifford, the Giants star halfback, was the NFL's most valuable player in 1956.
Every time the Giants do something good, and they have over the past decade or so, they keep dragging us out of the woodwork, and it's fun to a degree, but I get a little embarrassed because these guys are so much better than we ever were, in every way physically.
After the glory of '56, the '60s and '70s for the Giants were lean. Pro football exploded nationally, but other franchises became more successful. In the '70s, Ron Johnson was one of the few standout players. Surrounded by mediocrity, the Michigan running back is best remembered as the first Giant to rush for more than 1,000 yards in a season.
Quite frankly, I think at that time, they did not have the depth in the front office that we needed to be competitive with teams such as Dallas, who had, they were in the computer age already at that point in time. And just to go back to 1971, we made Rocky Thompson our first-round draft choice, who will go down in history as being one of the Giants' worst choices. And things like that. We just never got that additional talent that we needed.
In 1978, this fumble cost the Giants a game in the final seconds. What Joe Pisarcik and Larry Zonka lost, Herman Edwards of the Eagles took to the end zone. The fumble underscored a 6-10 season, but caused a change for the better. In February of 1979, George Young became the Giants' general manager. He had built winning teams in Baltimore and Miami. Young's first draft choice wasn't popular with Giants fans.
New York Giants first-round selection. Quarterback Phil Simms, Morehead State.
I'm not a Giant fan anymore. I'm leaving the Giants. I've had 12 years of losing seasons.
It's another one of the Giants, another guy who'll be back on the streets in 2 years, that's all.
I'm not going to fall on my face. I know that. I'm not going to go out there this year and fall on my face. I have enough confidence in myself and what I can do and our team where I'm going to do well this year. So I really don't think like that. I know I'm going to improve. I just know that.
Now, despite the fans' treatment of Simms, there is no doubt that fellow Giants think of Phil as a giant of a quarterback.
Come here.
Is this the locker room?
Any of you guys that think that guy can't play quarterback better start covering another sport, because he's pretty good.
Weren't big and strong and fast enough, and that was the thing that we had to try to do. We had to try to get as many people in here as possible without giving away the farm.
Young entered the scene just after frustrated fans burned their tickets. Some fans wanted those from miles around to know that they witnessed 15 years of lousy football and it was enough.
My dad's one of those guys that burnt his tickets in the early 70s or mid-70s.
Really?
Oh, yeah, my dad's he's a rebel.
Giants guard Billy Ard knows about Giants fans. He was born and bred.
Because I used to tell my next-door neighbor, there's only one Joe in New York, and that was Joe Morrison.
Despite a long history of losing, most Giants fans remain true blue, and in recent years, they've been rewarded.
The Giants fans, I've always said, are the greatest fans of any sport in any country, because Lord knows they've been long-suffering. The same fans that were watching me play were there through the 60s when I was playing, then in the 70s, and they're still there. And if they're not there, their children are there. There have been divorces that have been reconciled. I mean, before they became divorces because they couldn't decide what to do with the season tickets. There have been wills that have been contested over and over, and the principal item were Giant tickets. It's that kind of a thing, and I think a lot of it goes back to the 50s and the 60s when it was so much fun being involved with it. It was a party at Yankee Stadium. You always had the same seat next to the same person. It's similar to that now at Giant Stadium. It's not just a football game, it's a happening, a very special thing.
A Super Bowl victory would be a just reward for old-time Giants fans, and I think it'll happen. But Denver won't go down easily. Look for the Giants' winning margin to come off the toe of place kicker Raul Alegre. Len?
Well, Sal, the Giants defense hasn't given up a touchdown all year in 1987. Maybe they'll give up one to Denver. I like the Giants 30-10 with Lawrence Taylor, the most valuable player. Well, as we leave you from Pasadena, we'd like to play for you some of the many Giants songs that have come out in recent weeks. Thankfully, some of them are not available at your local record store. Thanks for watching, everybody, and enjoy the Super Bowl.
This is the year for Giant men to bring the glory home again. This is the time we've waited for, and fight, the referee